Major breaking news coming out from the one and only Fabrizio Romano. 1 hour ago, the Italian journalist tweeted out, despite links with Bayern, Chelsea are close to completing the Jamie Bynoe-Gittens deal. Understand direct meeting with Borussia Dortmund took place on Monday. Chelsea maintain a 7-year deal agreement with Gittens, who wants the move. Talks underway again between the two clubs. So, look, we know that Fabrizio Romano likes to drag out transfers sometimes. He'll make the first tweet when the club first makes contact, and then he'll sort of repeat the same thing for a bit. But what's interesting about this is that he says that there was a direct meeting between Dortmund and Chelsea on Monday. Now, of course, Dortmund and Chelsea are both in the USA right now, playing in the Club World Cup. So, with the two clubs playing in a tournament, you wouldn't really expect any of them to be engaging in transfer talk. So that to me is an indicator that this deal is quite close to being complete. Because if it was just starting, if it was just a rumor, if it was just a initial contact between clubs, I don't think it would have happened. I don't think there would have been initial contact at this stage. I think Dortmund would have said, look, we're keeping this player for the Club World Cup. We want to keep him further. So if you want to negotiate after the tournament. But obviously, we know that we've been wanting this player for a long time. We've known that we tried to bring him in before the Club World Cup for him to be in the squad. And we didn't manage to reach an agreement with Dortmund. But we're clearly really intent on making the signing. And this does tell me that I think we will end up bringing Jamie Bynoe-Gittens to Stamford Bridge. Now, another tweet that really intrigued me was one by David Ornstein, who is another very respected journalist in the football space. Now, this tweet was 8 hours ago. So I'll read it out to you now. Jamie Gittens' proposed move from Borussia Dortmund to Chelsea could be done imminently. Clubs continue talks in the USA, plus hope agreement reached swiftly despite FC Bayern interest. 20-year-old Dortmund winger fully committed to Chelsea. 7-year deal in place. So this 7-year deal thing is getting, obviously repeated a lot. We know what the owners do. We know what the owners are like, the contracts they throw out, and this is no different to what we've been doing with other players, putting them on ridiculous contract lengths. So that's not really a surprise. What really does captivate me about this tweet is the use of the word imminently. Now, this does imply that the deal is almost complete or could be completed at any moment. And although Fabrizio Romano didn't really expand on this in that 7-hour difference between tweets, because this was tweeted 8 hours ago and the Fabrizio Romano tweet was written 1 hour ago, it does mean that although the deal might not be completed today or might not exactly be getting finalized, we can expect it to certainly develop over the coming days and potentially be announced sooner rather than later. So this video, I'm going to be basing it off the fact that Jamie Bynoe-Gittens will be a Chelsea player next season, because I do think it will happen at this stage. So look, Jamie Gittens is a left winger. We have cried for a winger for so long, especially one on the left, because look, last season our wingers were a weak point in the squad. We had Madueke being inconsistent. We had Neto being inconsistent. We had Tyreek George coming up from the academy, but he's an academy player. We can't trust him fully yet, I don't think, to start. Sancho was alone. He's going back to United. He was also inconsistent, but he will not be staying at the club. And Mudryk, who was only at the club or playing for the first few months of the season, and now obviously he's got into his trouble, so he's going to be out for the foreseeable future. So in reality, we have lost 2 of our wingers, and even then, the wingers we're left with are not really reliable for week in, week out football. So we did need to strengthen. Now, does that mean I want any of the wingers at the club out? No. Does that mean I want Jamie Gittens to start over them? Not even. I just think we needed to increase our depth. We needed to increase the competition in those positions to push each player to play their best. And that will, of course, be for the overall benefit of the team. Now, Gittens is, of course, a player who ideally will be good enough to start, but he's also young. He's also 20 years old, and we don't know how quickly he's going to adapt to Premier League football. We know historically the players we've signed from the Bundesliga or played who were in the Bundesliga, like Sancho, like Werner, like Nkunku, haven't adapted that well. So Jamie Gittens, although he's not exactly like any of those players mentioned, we are going to have to be cautious about that fact that he may take some time and we're going to have to be patient with him. However, this is still very exciting because Jamie Gittens is a player who scores goals. He's got that eye for goal that we lack in a winger. That Madueke, we thought Madueke could have and could beat, but unfortunately, he's only scored 3 goals in the second half of the season. So he, to me, can't really be trusted in front of goal as for right now. So Gittens is a player who got 8 goals in the Bundesliga last season, 4 in the Champions League. Those aren't groundbreaking numbers, but they are much better than the numbers he was getting the season prior, where he only scored 1 league goal, 1 goal in the Champions League. Meaning that if he continues at this rate, he will develop very quickly and could be a very, very effective winger for Chelsea. So, look, of course, he's a player who suits Maresca's system. Maresca certainly pushed for this signing or gave the green flag because he's a touchline winger who is happy to receive the ball very wide and then just drive at the defender, bring the ball into dangerous positions and then create a chance or go for goal himself. And we know he's good at that. So, yeah, this is a move that we have to be excited about. This is a move that could potentially strengthen our squad a lot. And I really hope it gets done, man. I really do. Also, another reason as to why I think it's important that we get a solid left winger is because Neto, we've been trying to play him increasingly more on the right. And Madueke, we've tried to shift him to the left as a result and see how he conforms to that new role. And it doesn't really look like it's working for Noni. You know, it doesn't look like he is developing or improving his game in that position. In fact, it looks like he plays worse on the left side. So that means Neto's had to move back to the left. And this signing means that we can have a naturally left winger who is, you know, right-footed, but he can play on the left and cut inside into that stronger foot and then obviously create chances and danger. So this is certainly a much-needed signing for the betterment of the squad. Do we sign another winger now is my question. I'm unsure. I still think we might need another one, maybe on the right side. Of course, we've been hearing names like Rodrigo, but, you know, that to me, Rodrigo is a dream. At this point, I don't think it will happen because Arsenal seem to be ahead of us in the race for that signing, and B, because I think he wants to stay at Real Madrid. I think he'll only leave if he's forced out or told by Xabi Alonso he will not be getting many minutes. Or C, I just don't think our owners are willing to pay the wages that he'll be demanding. Like, I mean, this guy's on £200,000 a week at Real Madrid. And we know how our owners like to do business. You know, we reject a lot of signings. In fact, Nico Williams, another left winger we were looking at, we actually turned down the option to sign him, or we didn't really pursue his signature because of those wages. He really wanted quite a lot of money, and our owners don't really like to pay players high wages. So those are my 3 reasons as to why I don't think Rodrigo will sign. But to be honest, I don't really know what other alternatives there are on the wing. We've been hearing Anthony Gordon, we've been hearing this and that, but I do think we need another winger, whether it be left, right, or both. I do think, other than Jamie Gittens, we still do need to strengthen our wings because it's a crucial position on the pitch. If we have good wingers, it will not only allow Palmer to have more freedom where he doesn't have to roam out wide to create chances that the wingers can't create, but it will also create more chances because the wingers can do that themselves as well as Cole Palmer. So with Liam Delap in the box, who's a player who can effectively poach chances on his head, you know, at his feet, he can do the lot. So if we have wingers just creating chances for him effectively, that will be ideal. And I do think we need certainly some new players in those roles to either push the ones that we already have to a greater level or to just elevate the level themselves. So yeah, that's really it. Jamie Bynoe-Gittens is looking like he's going to sign for Chelsea. I will probably make another video if that gets confirmed and maybe go a bit deeper into what he actually brings to the squad. But for now, Jamie Gittens to Chelsea is almost as good as done. And we'll see how long it takes to have the announcement or the here we go. And I need to be careful with what I say because we obviously got to this stage where we were saying as good as done with Maignan, and we know what happened there. So remember, take this with a pinch of salt. It's not done yet. It's almost done. It could be done imminently, as we've heard, but it is not done. So Jamie Gittens to Chelsea is looking like a probability, but it's not done. But it's still an exciting prospect, and it means our owners are doing business this summer. And the sooner we can get this done, the better. So we can start focusing on strengthening on other areas of the pitch as well to really improve our chances for next season. But that is that, guys. Leave a like, subscribe, and let me know, comment if you have any input on Gittens's, you know, his overall play style and what you think he brings to the team, because of course I don't watch Bundesliga like all the time. I don't see Gittens play avidly, so I'm not an expert on the player. So if you are, let me know. And have a good day.